a blank space with only the voice of your teacher explaining what is going on. This is a very philosophical discussion where we discuss the concept of zero indices. So a zero index or a zero index is where you've got something to the power of zero. That something could be a letter or it could be a number, but whatever it is, we need to decide what happens in that case. And so what we're going to do is, to discuss this philosophical question about what the power of zero actually means, is we're going to think about what happens as we reduce powers. So, for instance, if we had a to the power of 5, and we divided it by a to the power of 1, we would get a to the power of 4. Okay, if we had a to the power of 2, we'd get a to the power of 3. If on the bottom we had a to the power of 3, that would simplify to a to the power of 2. I'm just subtracting my indices here. If we made that 4, we'd end up with a to the power of 1. And so if we had a to the power of 5 over a to the power of 5, surely that would mean we'd end up with a to the power of 0. So what we've got to ask ourselves here really is, what does it mean when you divide something by something that's exactly equal to it? So what's a to the 5 divided by a to the 5? Well, let's think about maybe something with powers. What's 5 squared divided by 5 squared? Well, that would be 25 divided by 25, which is 1. So what about 5 to the power of 3? Over 5 to the power of 3, well, that would be 125 divided by 125, which is also 1. So I think you see where I'm going with here. I could have 5 to any power, and so long as I had it dividing by that same power, I would end up with 1. And so what we're really saying here is that if you have anything to the power of 0, you end up with 1. And that's exactly the case. So with a zero index, if you have x to the power of 0, it is always 1. If you have any letter to the power of 0, it is always 1. If you have any number to the power of 0, it is always 1. No matter how massive that number is, if you take it to the power of 0, it's still going to be 1. And if you need to remind yourself why, just think of two things with powers dividing by the same power. Using your index laws, you know they subtract to make 0, but using your logical skills, you also know that anything divided by itself is 1, and that will quickly remind you that anything to the power of 0 is always equal to 1. There is no work to go with this philosophical discussion. However, you are allowed to have your mind be blown by this incredible concept.